Hey, thanks for joining us again. We're back here with Ted Thomas, who is, of course, America's Tax Lien and Tax Deed Authority. Welcome, sir. Always good to see you, Ted. And I know you're down in sunny, warm Florida. I'm up here right now in Ohio, which is the right place to be, because let's talk about tax deed sales in Ohio. So tell us a little bit, do they sell tax lien certificates in Ohio, or do they sell tax deeds? It's either one or the other, correct?
Ohio, it's a big population state. There's a lot of people, and there's a lot of counties, and it can get a little on the confusing side. So for those viewers that are just tuning in, let me grab a graphic of Ohio, and I'll put that up and kind of show you. Okay, so Lance can go to camera 2 anytime he wants if I get it lined up. Okay, so they got 88 counties. I circled a couple of them there. Ohio sells tax deed properties, and they sell tax lien certificates. All right, so let me explain this. A tax lien certificate means you raised your hand and you bought a certificate, and that certificate could pay up to 18% in the state of Ohio. Or you go to an actual auction where they're auctioning off the property, and they auction off a deed to the property, a property deed, and so you get the deed to that property, and now you own the property. So in Ohio, they have deed auctions. They can have them in all states, and they can have tax liens in all states. But there's some real confusion involved. So let's go through the questions, and I'll weave into some of the things that are going on.
So Ted, I recently heard about buying tax liens in bulk. Are there bulk tax lien auctions in Ohio?
Yes, they have bulk tax lien auctions in Ohio, and I'm not going to recommend them. And here's why. When they're going to sell a certificate, first I want you to understand what a tax lien certificate is. It's just a piece of paper. If when you buy it, you pay someone else's taxes. Okay, if there's someone else comes in and pays the tax, you'll get paid. But if they don't come in and pay the tax, you're going to probably get the property. Now, what if they're selling them in bulk? Well, what if you bought a whole bunch of these in bulk? For example, they will only sell $1 million worth of certificates at once. That means a lot of tax lien certificates. So first of all, I wouldn't want you to invest that much money in any one thing. Secondly, where are they and how are you going to look at them? My number one rule in this business is don't buy anything that you haven't had boots on the ground. If you haven't had boots on the ground, don't buy it. Why? There could have been a hurricane. There could have been a windstorm. There could have been a flood. Could be next to a chicken farm or a pig farm. All kinds of things could have gone wrong. All of the things I just mentioned, they've seen pictures of. So you don't want to buy something you haven't seen. So they're going to sell you in bulk. Now, how are you going to look at all those properties? You can't look at them. So if you don't get a chance to look at them, you might be buying a property that's in the inner city that wasn't a very good property. In other words, it could be a trashed property. So don't buy bulk. All right, now here's what protects you. In Ohio, they have a law that you have to buy $1 million worth. So you don't want to forget about bulk. Let's go to my picture that I put on the screen. We'll do it right now. Okay, it says forget about bulk. So forget about that. Now let's talk about Ohio.
Okay, let's forget about bulk. So if I wanted to invest in Ohio tax deed sales, I am not going to do it in bulk. That's the first rule. But tell me, right. Is Ohio a good state to invest in?
Okay, Ohio's a good state to invest in. Ohio's a big state in terms of people. You got 11 million people there, almost 12 million now. That means there's going to be a lot of defaults, and there's a lot of counties. So let's go to my map again just for a second. You can take a look. Look how many counties there are. That means there's going to be that many counties. All right, here's the trick in Ohio. So I'm just explaining how they do it. It's not in my opinion. Most counties will sell at a tax defaulted auction. In Ohio, they might sell tax defaulted property at a sheriff's sale. So write that down, sheriff's sale. Sheriff's sale is usually for mortgage defaults. All right, now this is common throughout this industry. Every county and state has its own rules. So my position is this: don't buy a property unless you had boots on the ground. Secondly, make sure you know how you're going to be able to sell it. In Ohio, all 88 counties are authorized to have tax defaulted auctions. If they have the auction, they might not have the auction at a tax defaulted auction. They might have it at a sheriff's sale. So you could go get a list of a sheriff's sale, and you might see a tax defaulted property in there. So I have personally bought in Ohio. So example, when I go to Cuyahoga County, if I said it right, hopefully. All right, so when I go there, I can see all the properties. I can go visit all the properties. I don't buy anything unless I've had boots on the ground. Okay, I can do the same thing if I go down to Columbus. All right, you get the idea. So in Columbus, they don't use a separate list. What they do, I think that's Franklin County. In Franklin County, what they're going to do is they're going to put them right in with the sheriff's sale. So you need to pay attention if you're doing this in Ohio.
Okay, so definitely boots on the ground. Check it out first. First, I got to even know about the property. So tell me, Ted, where does somebody go to find an Ohio delinquent tax list? Is it just something they search online?
Yeah, they can search online if they want. They can go to the county and see if the county's going to issue a list, which they're obligated by law to issue a list. County's the first place. If people don't know it, when I finish today, I'll show you. I have an interactive map and auction calendar. You can go there and you can find information on every state in the union. That'll be when we finish today after we do our questions.
So one last thing, Ted, and I think I know the answer to this, but where does somebody go to learn about investing in tax deeds? I mean, is there a tax deed investing course out there?
Yeah, I do everything. Okay, so I've been involved in this business for 30 years, and for people that want to attend an all-day event, I charge $47 to do that. You can do that online. It's twice a month starting in January. You can go to that class. That's a good thing to do. $47 for 6 hours instruction. That's a hell of a deal. All right. And secondly, you can go to tedthomas.com. You can just go below tedthomas.com and you'll see different things. Here's what most people do. Most people start at tedthomas.com. Then the next thing they do is they go to a one-day, all-day workshop. If you don't want to do that, below me, you'll find a way you can get right to that interactive map and auction calendar, and that'll give you a ton more information. You see those little white circles? That's how many auctions are taking place within that state in the next 90 days. This calendar updates every single day. I'm Ted Thomas.